Alright, I promise I would continue this. Alright, so here's my next installment in the card gaming look back and tutorials and such. We'll look at another game that I actually took seriously for about a year and a half in college. It was another one that I wanted to get competitive at, went to tournaments. Did well near the end of the game's cycle, and then it sort of just died out, which those happen with Bandai games, I guess. Just a note, I tend to go towards Bandai games, and they tend to discontinue a lot of their games. But that's beside the point. Alright, so we're going to look at Dot Hack Anime. This came out about the same time as the Dot Hack series hit the US shores, and I believe only the first game had hit by the time Enemy had come out. The game was actually made into, well, you can separate the game into two pieces. It's the best way I can put it. You had your PCs, and you had your creatures. Those are your two halves of battle. Your PCs would be used to battle your opponent's creatures, and your creatures would be used to try and knock out your opponent's PCs. Your PC has a basic battle number on the side. That's kind of what you go towards for battle. They have an ability, and they have a 2-play. Now, all cards have a 2-play on them. Now, something like this will say, to play it, your opponent must play up to 3 hidden cards for his or her discard, from his or her discard pile. So, a little chancy. Some cards that don't have a 2-play are just the very basic, just core cards. Just stuff that you would just need to put out there. You only get 2 plays, usually with 2.0 characters, which are essentially evolutions of that character. You can only have 3 PCs out at a time. And PCs, usually the way that you would build your deck PC-wise was you would pick a weapon type. So for WoW, that'd be warrior, priest, shaman. For Dot Hack, it'd be something more along the lines of heavy blade, twin blades, wave masters, blade master, stuff from the show. Creatures would have a couple different marks. They'd have a battle mark as well. They would have an element. Elements for cards, the only cards that do not have an element are PCs. Everything else has an element with a few exceptions. Those exceptions usually go into the level up cards, but that we'll do later. So they have an element, they have a battle, they have 2-play, and they have a reward at the bottom. Now, reward is if that creature is knocked out. This creature, if they knock it out, they don't get a reward. There's no reward for, knocking the sucker out. Creatures will also have, let me get this one up, will also have points in the top of them. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe you needed 7 points. Most creatures only had 1 point. So if you knocked out this creature on my side, you would get 2 points for it. So, the bigger the creature, the more crazy it is, the more points you would usually get. If a creature had a dot next to it, they were unique. So you obviously can't have more than one. I believe it was you can't have more than one in play. It might have been in the entirety of the deck. It's been a number of years since I've actually played the game. Now, 2-play mechanics. Something like that where it says spot for those symbols. That's a symbol for Earth. So what's it mean to spot in this game? Well, you might be thinking the straightforward, well, you check your side of the field. And if you have, 4 marks somewhere, that works. Spotting in Dot Hack is a bit more global. You can look over the entirety of the field, which includes your opponent's side of the field. So to play that, you need spot 4. So if you have 2 Earth creatures, your opponent has 1 Earth creature, and they also have 1 Earth item, then you can play that card. Others, to play, you need, different requirements. Some you need to sacrifice monsters. Some you need to spot so many monsters. Some you need to, sacrifice a specific monster. They're all give and take. They're all general ideas. Items. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, I cannot remember what the dots meant. I cannot remember. If someone wants to comment and remind me what those damn things meant, then that would help a lot. Now, that aside, items you attach to your PC, and they increase their battle and usually give them abilities. When you play this item, you may spot 2 cards. Spotting is you just have to look at it. You don't have to select it. You don't have to shift it. You don't have to turn it. You just have to look, and if you can see, just see 2, then you're good. That's spotting. You may spot 2 cards of opposing elements and return them to their owner's hands. And actually, this game made it easier for you to pick opposing elements. Opposing element obviously would be fire and water. The symbol for fire is a red triangle. I'm not sure if you can see the triangle in that. While the symbol for water is an inverted blue triangle. So they give you the opposite color and the opposite shape. Now, items, obviously, you can't have, more than 1 piece of armor on your PC. You can't have more than 1 weapon, more than 1 helmet. But as long as, there were boots, there were gloves, as long as they weren't wearing something already, you could throw this on them. Events are pretty straightforward. Those are your, your spells, your instances, your traps, what have you. They have 2 play functions that tell you how to play them, such as, spot on Earth. Your PC must be in a fight. Your Twin Blade must be in a fight. Spot 4 goblin items. Those would be items with the goblin face on the side. That was the deck I ran. I ran goblins and Twin Blades when I played, which actually did me pretty well. And you have, finally, locations. Locations are like field spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! There can only be 1 out in play at one time, and they just kind of give a global ability. Usually nothing game-breaking, but something that helps out. Such as when an item is destroyed, its owner places it on top of his or her deck instead of the discard pile.